This week, just Rip and I'm stressed. There's a lot going on in my life. I'm moving, I'm changing chapters. I'm realizing what I think I have in control, I don't have in control. I need life advice across the board. We're going to talk about it, talk about games in Munich, talk about the first place Arizona Cardinals. It's a one-star special. Rip and I only. Enjoy this one.
Don't stress about getting the best sports t-shirts in the game. Go to 500level.com for all the best QBs from fantasy this weekend. Jalen Hurts on fire. Brock Purdy on fire. Kyler Murray, first place Cardinals. Mystery shirts, $10, all on 500level.com. Use the discount code DK and RIP at checkout for 20% off everything on the site. That's DKANDRIP. 500level.com. Let's go.
Yo, aloha, November 11th. Actually, it's 11/11 right now on November 11th. That's a sign. There you go. Checking in. Kalahea, Hawaii, still here. 173 pounds, down a pound and a half if you're keeping track. It's probably stress. I don't think I'm eating better. I made a couple eating mistakes. I did a white pizza. If you know my background, I shouldn't be doing white pizza. But there it is, Rib 173. Feeling the stress of another relocation. Once I think I have things under control, very quickly the world shakes you and realize that you don't. So that's where I am right now, bro. My brain is full of a million to-do lists, and the universe is telling me to just let it happen. So I'm feeling stressed, man. That's where I'm at. How you doing?
I'm stressed too, apparently, man. 11/11 on November 11th. I had to take a minute there just to get myself together, move locations in the house. Kids are off school today. Luckily, I took a day off work, but man, what a stressful week. I feel like it's a stressful time of year with the holidays and everything else.
It is, and there's some relief too in bigger picture coming off this election season, which whether you're believe you're in it or not, it affects vibes and energies. And yeah, the transition. It's the transition to holiday seasons. The seasons change. It all's happening. So I appreciate that, bro. And we're gonna roll with it. Need some life advice though. I've been out on an island now for almost 4.5 years. Haven't had to deal with the real world as much. I'm doing a car right now, a used vehicle, which is fine. You start with your low-hanging fruit. For me, I started with asking just some friends in the Bay Area because that's my first stop. If they knew anybody in the game, it led to a couple leads actually, Rip, which was surprising. One really a good lead, a nice link and some things sent over. Not a car guy though. So I'm at the situation where we've got a couple cars. I'm trying to do the internet research. I find myself in Reddit chat rooms all of a sudden. Used cars, Rip, though. Let me set you up for this. 25,000 bucks, used car, mid-size SUV. Maybe not. Maybe you can tell me and talk me into something else. In the Northwest, what direction you going in? Where's your instincts go?
Brings me back to that famous Kanye West line. I can't remember the song, but it's what you think I rap for? To push a fucking RAV4? I think you're going Toyota RAV4. I believe they have four-wheel drive. They're affordable. They last forever. You're not a rapper, so I think RAV4 is probably right up your alley, to be honest.
That's a good rec. And as I've gotten down the wormhole of vehicles, that's why I ask you. And you're the value guy. Toyotas seem the most legit. Hondas behind them, simple, easy to use. It's funny when you get into what I've been out of the game for is the introduction of things like the Kias and the Hyundais, which from the outside and the even Toyota is a part of this too. The Highlanders and these Traverses and these vehicles, they look okay from the outside, but they're cheap rental cars, bro. This is plastic stuff. You know what I mean? Toyota seems to like make a complete vehicle. I'm digging in, so I'm learning more to stick with the brand, stick with the big teams, the stick with the Patriots, the Chiefs, the teams who win Super Bowls. If you're going to be a fan, don't
Hold on a
choose the
second. You've been out of the game for the Kias and the Hyundais. You sound like Rip Van Winkle who went to sleep in like 2001. Kias and Hyundais have been around forever. Like last time you were in the market for a car, like Saturn was the top dog. What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. Nailed it. 2005, last time I was really in the vehicle game for that stuff. And these Kias and Hyundais have stepped up. It's in the marketing and in the game. But they really feel like rental cars. I want to avoid that. I think there's two buckets in my price range, which is either cheap like you do, which is so smart, bro. What's your running errand car? You have a Kia.
Yeah, Kia Forte. It's been great. No major issues. Very, very affordable, and it'll probably last us another 8 or 9 years if we wanted to.
Probably 3 racks, 2,500 on, value guy. So you go in that direction and it's gonna be a win in that space. You go above, you go into that Lexus zone maybe, or a Infinity, or some of those next zones. You might be safe too. It's a very dangerous zone in between the $20,000 to $30,000 range, though. Rip. It seems like that's the range where they get the suckers for the cheap shit. So I got to be patient. It's very frustrating setup. My plan is to get something set up in the Bay Area, try to test drive some vehicles, and then do a little road trip up to Portland with hopefully our vehicle. But listeners, you have any cars that you would recommend, mid-size SUVs in particular? Send them my way. From the outside looking in, they seem cheap. Where are the 96 Land Cruisers? I wish I kept mine, bro. Really, I really fucked up in not keeping that vehicle. Seems to be the best car ever made from Reddit rooms.
I know our Bay Area listeners got you too. We got a bunch of listeners in the Bay Area who I know are working in the used auto space, working at car dealerships. Hit our guy DK up. Hit him on Instagram. Hit him on Twitter. This man is in the market for $25,000 Japanese SUV crossover. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Take
go.
care of
That
him.
450 RX Lexus. Hit me up. 2022. Nice year. A fine vintage. Fine vintage year for that vehicle. Housing's been stressful, dude. I thought, look, coming from Southern California, then Hawaii, off to the state of Oregon, in my mind, this was going to be a beautiful transition into saving some money and all kinds of available housing options. And no, no, no. Missed the boat on that too. 5 years, 6 years being away from the mainland. It's just as expensive as Hawaii, bro. And we're looking for something unique. And I haven't searched in the fully furnished space ever. It's all corporate housing, Rip, or Airbnbs. Same deal with the cars, either real cheap or real expensive. Nothing in between. I'm banging my head against the wall right now, too. So calling Life Advice in Oregon for anybody who can help me with a good rental space for 6 months. What I will not do, bro, is panic, sign a lease, do something where I'm going to be in a shitty situation again. So I'm going to move slowly there, but not as easy or as inexpensive. Not even inexpensive. A little bit of money savings as what I thought. So frustrations there. You know, life advice, Rip. You're in my space. You're going to a brand new city. Two elderly dogs that go to the bathroom a little bit more than normal. Partner working downtown. Instincts for you, Rip. You going right into like a corporate, short-term, fully furnished condo and sucking it up? Or you gonna wait until you can find the right rental for your family and maybe do Airbnbs for a month, 2 months? What's your move? What's your play?
I'm leaving the dogs at the in-laws for 3 to 4 days, and I'm flying to Portland and meeting with local realtors, checking out the area, walking the city, walking the downtown area. I've never been to Portland, but one thing I do know is they have a lot of green space. That's good for Abby and producer Winston to walk around and do what they need to do. So if you can get a downtown spot that's just right down the stairs, you got a nice green space, a nice park for those dogs. That might be worth it right there because you might not even need a car in that case.
It's 3 in the
Save that
morning.
25
Rip.
G's.
It's 3 in the morning. It's 45 degrees. I get a blow of fentanyl and meth smoke in my face, and I step in human feces upon that departure down. Very risky, bro. That's what I'm dealing with here. Or a townhouse in Lake Oswego. And both not really fitting what I imagined in my head. Unfortunately, I'm going to end up in Beaverton in a 1-bedroom studio, furnishing it myself, bro, from a rent-to-own furniture store. That's what I'm fearing. That's why I'm stressed. DeAndre Ayton, can I rent your guest house, bro? I know you have a hard time coming down the hill at your house. Do you have an Ohana above your garage, bro? That's what I'm looking for, Rip.
We're making more from 500level.com than I thought we were. Is all this money we're raking in? Are you even considering a purchase right now or strictly rentals? Are you 100% rental?
Strictly rental. The market is not showing me any buying signs. or opportunities for great deals. And on the flip side, the financing side's still too expensive at these interest rates. So we're renters, that's what's good for our budget. It's up a little bit because when you are renting and we're looking for something comfortable and another soft landing, the budget's up a bit, but it's Rip, very I got to get in there and sniff around, man. I'm feeling stressed, Rip. I'm feeling stressed. I got to get these cars shipped off. I got to get people flown back and forth. Once we get back to the mainland, I'm really gonna need. I know you did a Vegas trip. I might need like a. I might need to go do a class in returning back to normalcy. Like a like a student like here's how you come back to the mainland world and are not shell shocked by everything because holy shit, Rip, it's moving a bunch. I'm slow mo here now in Hawaii. I've lost my edge, Rip. I'm gonna get it back. Don't you worry, it's coming back. I'm not Danny Dimes. I'm Patrick Mahomes, Rip. Okay, it's gonna come back. But I'm feeling it right now, man. Thanks for listening and empathizing and hearing me. And I appreciate you letting me get that off my chest, man. You watched the Munich game. Are you ready to talk football?
I'm ready to talk football. I did not watch that game. 6:30 a.m. wake up time here. Wait, wasn't it 4:30 for you? Why were you watching that game? I don't get it.
4:30 for me, 4:30 a.m. I didn't wake up until halftime. So I started the coffee as soon as the ball kicked off for the second half. Listeners know I got a good friend in New Jersey, Mermelstein, who has a Giants tattoo. I've talked about him before, but holy shit, has our relationship gotten so much better over these Danny Dimes disasters. Daniel Jones and the Giants. I've never been more involved in a team that is so disappointing, and they keep giving this dude and this team chances. I do feel real terrible. First thing though, Munich, Germany, great crowd. Better than any crowd I've even seen in the States so far. I have a couple of bring me back to the crowd, Rip, because I want to talk about that. I think there's some fake stuff going on there. I actually want to talk about that a little bit more in detail. I dug into this NFL international thing going a little bit, and it goes back years. This is a money thing. This is marketing rights involved. So I just want to talk about the crowd, though, that I noticed. Curious if you noticed the same thing, but I feel terrible. I feel so terrible. I called a tragic play and it hit in a way that couldn't believe it hit. And Mermelstein couldn't believe it hit, but it was a bad thing to call, Rip. We're watching the game. Daniel Jones drives. They couldn't score in the fourth quarter. Game goes to overtime. It's hilarious. We know it's going to end terribly. Whatever. Before the first play, and we love Tracy Jr. Mermelstein and I love he's one of the few guys besides Neighbors on this team that we actually love in this little text chat that we've gotten going. It's so good. It takes me back to my Arizona Cardinals days when this team is so bad. It's good level of entertainment. Anyway, kickoff go. We're going back and forth. He thought Gano was going to miss. That was his story. We got there. I said, Tracy Jr. is going to fumble. And bro, Dimes dropped back and gave him the ball and he fumbled. My whole body dropped in a way that why did I do that? I felt strictly 100% responsible, but then there's a side of me that was like, holy shit. How did that have that call? I felt like Nostradamus. He was impressed. He was disappointed, but very impressed. I don't want to do that ever again, though. If I have that power, if I'm that powerful, that needs to not happen and only be used for good. What's your take on that? Should I have not have done that? Is that so fucking random? Did a dude in Hawaii at 5:30 in the morning drinking a cup of coffee, doing a text message to Mermelstein in New Jersey cause that fumble?
Just turn the fumble into a score. Tracy Jr. is going to score. Like, be positive about it, and then if he fumbles, I don't know what the feeling is there, but if he if he fumbles, at least you weren't to blame for it.
If I would have bet that on FanDuel, that would have been a $10 for $25,000 payoff. You can't bet fumbles right before play. Imagine if you could. There's probably a way to hack that system, but I feel bad. I can't do that anymore. I've done so good in this age of sports betting of staying out of text messages until the play's over, staying out of things, procrastinating negative things that could drastically affect usually a bet. The good news about this was there was no bet, and it was kind of funny. Haha. It's actually a better thing for the New York Football Giants to lose this game because they're in tank mode, Rip. This would have been a terrible win for them. You know, like you beat the Panthers. Who cares? That's now you're gonna not get a good draft pick. So I think it still worked out, but very faux pas, bro, and involved. Well, something inside of me felt powerful. So look out, world. In that game, back to the fans though. Tell me if this is crazy or not. How do that many fans have Carolina Panthers jerseys? Probably 50,000 Panthers jerseys and merch. There's no way like a fat dude from Frankfurt went out and got himself a Brian Burns jersey on the Panthers and then came to watch Brian Burns play on the Giants, or like a secretary from Berlin wearing an Adam Thielen jersey. Those had to be passed out, Rip. There's not Carolina Panthers fans like that, bro.
I'll tell you what happened. I saw a hype video like 2 days before. The Panthers owner, David Tepper, who's incredibly rich, his net worth is like $21 billion, billion with a B. He's made his money off, I think, venture capital or something, but he had all the Panthers legends at a bar in Munich. He had Steve Smith Sr., he had Julius Peppers, he had Luke Kuechly, he had all these guys, and the bar was packed with Panther fans. I said, I couldn't even believe, I thought it was in Charlotte, and I don't even think there's that many Panther fans in Charlotte. But he had this going on in Munich in the lead up to the game. So I have a feeling this guy just bought tickets for all these random Germans and threw Panther stuff on him. The guy has billions of dollars, DK. And
yeah,
hey, it might have worked because the Panthers 2-game winning streak. Bryce Young is back. He's no longer a bust. He's won 2 games in a row.
He's got a terrible haircut. I don't know if the kids like that haircut too, but he's on a haircut watch with my boy on the Jags, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you set me up perfectly too for this too. Tepper's in there. There's bigger implications for Tepper being in there too, Rip. The NFL's doing an international push that I'm learning over and over. So the NBA wants to do NBA 365 days a year, and their international input is already affected by the players. They're getting it. The NFL's becoming a league with no borders, though, Rip. It's the richest, most powerful league, and I do think, like, what are you doing this game for? And what are those fans doing in Carolina Panthers jerseys and all that stuff? I did the same thing, Rip. I didn't see the video with Tepper, but I did learn you got to follow the money. And the money for this stuff is all in marketing rights. And it's been changing hands for the last couple decades to establish why and when these teams play, where they are, and how they are. Does that make sense, bro? For example, Rip, the Georgia Tech, Florida State game. This is college football, but they played in Ireland. Remember we talked to the AD that was right before the Ireland game. Do you remember this?
Yes.
You remember this? That had been set in stone. Florida State had to buy marketing rights to get involved into this game in Georgia Tech years ago, and they start marketing their team in that area, and then they get a block of games. That's kind of how it works. Same thing in the NFL. The Jaguars, for example, have played 2 London games. The Chiefs were in Germany last year. The Chiefs spent roughly $3 million on international marketing that year. And in addition, after that game, went and bought the rights in Germany to kind of take over. The Patriots did the same thing. So the Patriots have this strong foothill. So there's 6 or 7 teams that have these strong international foothills that they've been investing marketing money for years that come with packages of, you will play a 2-game package. We'll invest $3 million. David Tepper is going to bring out the alumni. We're going to party, and we're going to build this team with no borders. So I think it's a little bit of Truman Show, a little bit of Wag the Dog, like you talked about. Like, let's make them all look like they know what's up with football and put them in jerseys. And then there's also the generations are starting to be maybe real Jaguars fans who were kids when this started happening. And it's working, bro. That's my point of this ramble. I think it's becoming successful. So Australia, Brazil, Mexico City, these are coming in the next couple of years. We've seen them already. Guess our Arizona Cardinals, rights in Mexico City. Makes sense. And you've seen them investing there now for years. So Australia, take a guess of the teams investing in Australia, Rip. What team would you guess in the NFL is angling to get their little hands into Australia?
Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. Very good guess. The Eagles and the Rams happen to have marketing rights there. So wild. Australia is just not a small set, but they like Australian rules football. So it's like playing the stock market in the international fan development building game of the NFL. And I'll be the first to say that I love that Munich game, and I think it's getting better. The field conditions need to improve. Some of the timing stuff can maybe get worked out a little bit. I don't know if it's working for you or not. For a lot of NFL fans, it's just NFL starting that much earlier in the morning, which is great for people. People love that shit, I think. So I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Good job, NFL. I think it's pretty cool. And something that I thought last year was lame, a waste of a game, a money grab, like another Thursday night bad game with bad teams, is developing into something with a little bit more soul. You co-sign on that?
It's a nice experiment, and I appreciate him doing it every year. It's definitely a little odd. I don't know about the long-term ramifications. To me, it's the thing that might really make a difference is what Adam Silver and Goodell keep talking about is putting another franchise overseas, putting a first franchise overseas. If there ends up being an NBA team in Mexico City, I know they have a G League team right now, or an NFL team based somewhere in Europe where the fans can really get behind and call their own. I think that might be the difference maker, but it feels like it's honestly coming sometime in the next 10 years as well. Who do you think would be first to do that, NBA or NFL?
It's going to be super close. It's got to be Mexico City because both are angling. We have a minor league G League team there now in the NBA, and we do 2 games every year down in Mexico City. That makes the most sense in my mind. Guess who has the rights in Austria and Switzerland? Just take a guess too. This is kind of fun because it's like match the team to the country because that's what they're doing essentially. Who do you think has the rights in Austria and Switzerland?
Tennessee Titans and Las Vegas Raiders.
No, you got to think of like light-hearted teams that are like light, and it makes sense in my head. The Seahawks and the Colts. There you go. Makes sense. I don't know why, but that makes sense. I can see Colts fans in Switzerland for some odd reason. There was last thing on the Germany game. I'm beating this thing up. Thank you, listeners, for rolling with me. There was a LeBron James, Bronny James moment for referees in that Munich game. You know what I'm talking about?
Hockey League, right?
Ed Hockley, listeners. Here's this Rip. You're so smart. You know everything before. Did Winston put this in the notes? You just knew that?
No, I saw him with the flex and calling the penalty in German. Hockey League, was that his son?
So Ed Hockley refereed, still to this day, school principal, and was a school principal all through his refereeing days. It was a side job for him. But Ed Hockley, for everybody who doesn't know, he was the strongest ripped ref with the biggest biceps. Refereed the NFL's first game in Mexico 19 years ago, and he made the first penalty call in Spanish. So on Sunday in Munich, you know that Rip, his son Sean, called the penalty, which you saw on social media or wherever in German. So small moment for the NFL, huge moment for referees. Okay, LeBron James, Bronny moment. Ed to Sean, making a call in a different language. 1 to 5 stars, Rip. Put it in their obituary.
Why not? I mean, it was a semi-viral moment, as viral as you're gonna get for a referee without like totally messing up a call. So yeah, props to him. He's also ripped, by the way. They must have a home gym at the Hockey League house. Incredible.
On them roids, those Hockley roids, man. Tons of teen, a bunch of teen over there. But that's my take. I really like that game. We're off it. NFL talk. Open it up just real quick for you, Rip. I'm going to finish with Arizona Cardinals, so get prepared with your stand now because we have to start changing we have to do a paradigm change from mediocre bad team to playoff team and division winning team. And it's getting scarier because McCaffrey's back. Kansas City Chiefs, though, real fast. That's what happens when you're a great team. Mom, they were going to lose their first game of the year, and it was all set up, field goal, close field goal to win it. The Chiefs block the field goal, stay undefeated. Same vein, Rip, and I'm going to pass it to you. The Detroit Lions, 5 interceptions. You don't win games in the NFL with 5 interceptions. It's only been one other dude who ever did it, I think, in a single game. Shout out to Nathan Perryman. Week 11, 2017. Buffalo Bills. Doesn't happen. The Lions found a way to win that game. The Chiefs found a way to win that game. The Cardinals aren't in that zone yet. Cardinals are still figuring it out. And we're going to talk about it. Defense is coming together. Jonathan Gannon's defense is coming together. But just those two teams, Rip, the contenders, the teams that people think they're going to meet in the Super Bowl, did this weekend what great teams do, and they figure out a damn way. How impressed were you with your boy Jake Bates and his story that last year this time, when me and you are doing our podcast, we were probably talking to Chingy or somebody on our podcast. He was selling bricks to build fireplaces. And then he kicked a 50-yarder for the win. Rip. Is this the teams? These are the two teams, the Lions and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
It feels like it for the Lions. They've been getting increasingly better each year under Dan Campbell from the Hard Knocks season to now. And what are they, 8-1? I mean, it feels like it's just kind of that slow uptrend, and this is their time. The Chiefs, I don't know how many more ways they can find to win than they already have, but it's that whole thing. Good teams find ways to win close games. They're doing it week in and week out. Still undefeated, but never count out Mike Tomlin. I mean, he's got the Steelers at what, 7-2, 8-2, a great defense that just gave Jaden Daniels fits. So it's wide open between a handful of teams, I think. But yeah, Detroit feels like it's their year. And by the way, the Cardinals, I was thinking this morning, like everyone's talking about their schedule is very manageable the rest of the way. I think they have a bye this week, and then they close it out with 7 games. Would it be so Cardinals for them to lose all 7 in a row?
Why are you doing that? We just talked about that. I don't Tracy Jr. this thing, man. That's what I'm saying. We have to change the paradigm. I want to go there too, Rip, to be honest with you, which is
I'm just saying, would you be surprised if that happened? Being a Cardinals
I wouldn't, and I wouldn't, but I want to be like a Chiefs fan, and I think that's not impossible.
It does feel like Jonathan Gannon is changing things there. We talked about this last week, but he's been very impressive. Socially awkward, yes, but good coach also, yes, and he's making things happen. So I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see Kyler making less mistakes and being a little more consistent too.
Yeah, nailed it. Defensive coach. It's coming together a bit more. So let's even just let the Cardinals be and breathe, because you took it in the direction that we didn't learn from 6 minutes ago from my story of we're not going to do that because we're powerful, bro. 1 stars. We're going to win those 7, clinch the division. The 49ers are shook up a little bit. I'm happy for you, Shitstorm, in our fantasy league that you got your first round draft pick, Christian McCaffrey, back. They're not with Ayuk out, and I think Juwan Jennings, who we like, 500level.com. He has some of the best shirts at 500level.com, now playing the slot. The 49ers are still trying to figure this out. The great teams have figured it out in the Cardinals. It's more even than it's ever been in that division. So just stay tuned, Rip, and good Pittsburgh take as well. What else? Anything else in the NFL before we do our 1-star moments here?
How about Shitstorm starting out 7-0 and now 7-3? Shitstorm losing 3 in a row. Possible 2012 Cardinals end to the season there.
And he's getting his guy back. Yeah, it's so fun. Fantasy football is so random and stupid. Really, it is so stupid. I spend so much time looking at things that just do not matter. And our guy Shitstorm, there's no explanation, Rep, is all I got to say for that at all. It's flip of the coin. Completely flip of the coin. Last NFL take, just for me, the Joe Flacco Indianapolis Colts situation is interesting because he makes the wide receivers better. He makes the team better. I don't know if he gives them wins, but he makes fantasy football land better for all of us. I was one of the lucky guys to get Josh Downs off of waivers. I know you're jealous of that pickup, Rep. That was a great grab off of the waivers for the Colts, especially with this Flacco situation, because with Anthony Richardson, he's not the same guy. He's really become a number 1 receiver that was an easy grab for me. Not who I want to talk about, though. I just want to put people on the alert because he had his first decent game of the year. And if you're in a dynasty league, he's still available in almost 99% of the leagues. Number 10, same team, Indianapolis Colts, Adonai Mitchell. So there's my little advice, NFL. If you're in a dynasty league, you just want to grab at this point somebody to stash because we're done picking up double defenses, double kickers. All that stuff's done for the most part. Adonai Mitchell, and keep an eye on him over the rest of the season in Indianapolis. Did you know about him, Rip?
Yeah, first round pick, right? I don't think he's played much. Has he had any 100-yard games yet?
No 100 yards games, but he is consistently in some of the deeper stats in the separation stats. He has the most separation each play from receiver. He just doesn't know how to fully catch the ball or find space, but he's getting the most separation right now in the league. So it will come for him. And he's very, very, very talented. He's just not even able to crack that lineup in Indianapolis right now until he can turn that separation into finding the right space and breaking the big plays. Stay tuned on him. Almost too much on him. I didn't want to go that hard, Rip. 1-star moments of the week. We all have them. We don't talk about them. What do you got?
Mine is easy and right on the heels of this fantasy football talk. It's my week started on Thursday with fantasy football and it basically ended on Thursday because my 1-star moment of the week was going up against a squad that had Jamar Chase on it. And we all know he had like the 10th or 12th best fantasy game of all time, scored 49 against me, I think 55 in some leagues. And I didn't even think I had a chance from that point. I was basically complete toast. And I was right. I lost by about 60. So 1-star moment of the week, just going up against that man, Jamar Chase, number one for the Bengals in fantasy. And I was done then and I'm done now. Chalk it up as an L.
Tough when that happens. Happened to me too. My other league, I had going against Chase. He had 57.4 points in my league. I'm still live, 154 to 126, and I have Kyron the Siren, former 1-star, going tonight, so he needs to pull up 30 for me to even sniff that one. Yeah. Yo, 57 points. Come on. He's good. Turn up the Cincinnati Bengals noise too a little bit back to football. If they can figure something out on defense, and I think it's pass rush and some more turnovers, Joe Burrow. How mad is Jerry Jones? Like Joe Burrow would have been the perfect Dallas Cowboy. Cincinnati's fine, but how mad is Jerry Jones watching Joe Burrow every week, knowing that he could have had that dude running down in Dallas? It's a side note.
Or Joe Flacco. I mean, Flacco would be great there. They just need a backup quarterback. When are these teams going to learn that you need a quality backup?
This is the change. We're living that change. We're living that moment. This is the era where guys like Daniel Jones aren't going to get 70 starts anymore. This isn't the opportunity when guys like Mac Jones are going to get. If you got to come in, play and produce, and you got to play fast. I think the era of the slow mover is done in college, in football in general. It's fast. Get to the line fast. Make your progressions fast. Read it fast, and make a play quickly. The era of getting in a pocket, thinking, and making the right throw, slow, done. Might be over, man. 1-star moment of the week. It's simple, and without being completely specific, I haven't been acknowledging people in my life. So I haven't been acknowledging feelings, experiences. I've been moving directly into solution mode or not hearing that person out in that moment and trying to turn the page on that conversation because it may be uncomfortable or it may be involving more work for me or something. And my current situation when my brain feels full like it does today with just a lot of shit going on is makes it easier to push that stuff off. And I just want to remind myself and others to stay in conversations, stay with those humans, acknowledge what they're saying, and also read the room before we go into solutions. I don't think a lot of people are looking for solutions anymore, Rip, really ever. And if they are, they know to ask directly. So communications, 1-star moment, 1-star moment communicating for me multiple times this week led me to think, I remind myself, maybe others, maybe you're great at it. I think you're pretty good at acknowledging, Rip. You're one of the better listeners that I know. My tendencies are want to solve problems. And sometimes that's not what people want. So just take that moment to acknowledge, listen, and then move forward with your communication, especially when you're going home for the holidays or you want to run over a conversation because it's a topic you don't like or whatever the case may be. Sometimes people just want to be heard. That's what I got.
We all need the reminder communication can always be practiced and improved. So good one. I like that. What's your recommendation of the week this week?
I didn't do too much for Halloween, and I was proud of myself. I've been playing pickleball. I didn't want to do my normal cooked bag of Halloween candy that I eat by myself from 9 to 11 at night. And like, don't brush all the bad things. Don't brush my teeth. all the bad things that comes with a bag of candy. I didn't. I passed. 5 stars for me. And in return for that success, I treated myself to a bag of Reese's peanut butter cups dipped animal crackers. And they are so fucking delicious. They're so delicious. They taste like the peanut butter cookies, Girl Scout peanut butter cookies, but with all the Reese's stuff that Reese's people like, and they're just 5 out of 5 stars. So if you happen to be out and about and see those, and you like animal crackers, I like animal crackers. I love animal crackers. A hint of vanilla, a nice crisp. I'm 6 years old, maybe, but I love them. I still buy the big plastic bear full of animal crackers. So put that on your list. I saw them at Costco. So fun to have around for the holidays to put in a bowl and just people grab one of those, maybe a unique flavor they don't see all the time. Reese's dipped animal crackers.
You sent those in the group chat, and I don't even know, don't think people knew what to think about them, but you got like 3 or 4 likes on it with no comments. But I was into them too. I think if I could eat peanut butter and not die, I would do it.
Yeah, you would die. That wasn't for you, Rip. You sometimes in those group chats, you successful. Sometimes it's not. You never know, bro. You gotta ride the wave when you had it. It was a flop, and I'm reverting the flop from the chat this is a fun thing to actually keep in your car if you're a true fatty. Just keep one in the center, keep a bag of these in the center console because it's not too hot anywhere anymore, so nothing will melt. And then you're waiting around for your kid, or you just have a bad day and you want to do some sad eating. These are perfect for that.
You leave those in a RAV4 console overnight in downtown Portland, you're gonna have some broken windows in the morning.
Probably.
I got
Shit.
a recommendation of the week involving Halloween candy too. My wife and youngest son are out of town this week, and so it's me and my oldest. And I got this idea in my head because he has a bucket full of candy from Halloween, and we like to go to frozen yogurt, Yogurtland, whatever. So I got this idea. Yogurtland, by the way, I don't know when's the last time you had froyo, but the stuff, like everything else in the world, has gone way up in price. Family of four, I sent you the receipt. It was like $45 a couple weeks ago. So my hack was that we went to Yogurtland and we filled up the cup with frozen yogurt. I said, don't put any toppings on it. That's where the money comes in. It's the weight. They weigh it by ounce, whatever. So we got the frozen yogurt. We brought it back home. We raided the Halloween basket, crushed up some Milky Ways, some Reese's Pieces for him, put it on top. And I told the lady at the cash register, I was so proud of my idea. 1 star recommendation of the week. She said, that's a great way to save money. I said, hell yeah, it is. So we came home and did that. Everybody was happy. Got a couple pieces less from his Halloween candy basket. And yeah, it was a good move, I think.
What was the yogurt savings? Because I know you're with a topping, I believe $19 for yours, or was it $14? What was the savings?
It's about 12, it's about $11 a person when you put in all the toppings. And we got out there for 15 for 2 people. So I'd say we saved what? We saved about $7.
That's good, bro. That's good. People are going to use that one. That's a fun one. It teaches the kids too to be resourceful with saving money and thinking outside the box. That's a good little lesson. Good job, bro. That's a good one.
Yeah, he's gonna eat the candy anyway at some point, so why not save a little money in the process?
Right, right. It's a lesson in resourcefulness for them youngsters. Rips reacts. Hit the music. This one hit home a little bit because it got me thinking. I'm curious to ask you to get Rips reacts on this one. I lost all my stuff in the fire, including a lot of sports memorabilia that I had. I had all the Warriors bobbleheads from all the times, all the autographs, the jerseys, the balls with all the signatures, all that. All of it lost. I saw this week that Michael Jordan's game worn jersey from the 96-97 season sold for nearly $5 million. Now my shit wasn't $5 million, obviously, but after 45 years of life for you, what's your current take on sports memorabilia? Good investment, bad investment, wasted time? What's your take?
And if you know what you're doing, I think it's a really good investment, but it feels like it's a full-time job at this point. We actually have another Little League coach who does it full-time, does baseball cards, flies to Vegas to get cards and sell them. But yeah, I've never had anything graded. I think there's like a wait list and it's super expensive. It just feels too complicated at this point. It was so simple. growing up and just keeping the cards in a sleeve and trying to not bend the corners. Now everything has to be graded to be worth anything, and you really have to be on top of it. So I think the top 1% of these collectors out there who are doing it really well. Maybe a little bit like professional sports gambling. Everyone else is just probably losing in the long run.
Yeah, it's gone away from a thing of right time, right, being in the right time in life, in the right space, and like a player throwing you a jersey after leaving the locker room or something, to this intense game. I guess it's everything. Technology, competition, the same reasons that looking for housing now is super competitive. Everybody's looking for the angles and all this stuff. I don't miss my memorabilia, my stuff, you know. It now kind of even seems a bit silly that I was lugging around 72 bobbleheads. I gotta rethink this. I don't know. I think for the right passion and the right space, it makes sense. But I'm at an in-between space in my life of whether to have more stuff or less stuff, and memorabilia is right up there with it. Stay tuned for that one. More thoughts. I got to get my thoughts in order on that one. Connor McGovern is an NFL center for the Broncos. He didn't need to go pro necessarily, though, Rip. I learned that his family runs R&D Ofit, which is the primary provider of potatoes for Mickey D's French fries. Big account. So despite his teammates giving him shit all the time, being a Nepo baby and having all this silver spoon situation, I guess, sub out places with Connor, Rip. Put on 342 pounds. Plop yourself into a family who got the McDonald's account. If you're Connor, you still playing football with what we know about CTE and hitting your head and all that stuff? Or are you managing the farm and living in your couple houses throughout the country?
I mean, I'm taking the latter. That's me. I'm a one-star. I'm managing the farm and just watching those checks come in. But yeah, he must love what he does. Clearly knows the risk. But if you love what you do, there's no way you're not going to do it.
How about the reminder too to get the right account? Whatever business you're in, maybe all you need is one account sometimes. You know, what a reminder for that. McDonald's, huh? That's it. Think about businesses who have to go chase every single new customer, a new buyer. Paradigm switch idea, one stars out there. Is there a zone where we can just get one client and make it happy? I don't know. Crazy talk. Bad week for the NBA here. It's down. Viewership is down. First 2 weeks of the season have been muddied with college football, NFL football. NBA is hoping the solution's right around the corner, though, Rip. And their solution is the Emirates NBA Cup, the second iteration of the in-season tournament. It's going to start November 12th this week. We are in season 2 of the in-season tournament. It's going to be crazy times since they're moving it to Abu Dhabi. 1 to 5 stars, second year in-season tournament, Rip. Is this going to hook you back into the NBA?
I'm pretty into the NBA as it is. I mean, the Suns are good this year. I've been watching almost every game, but I think the Emirates NBA Cup exceeded expectations last year. And I think they're doing a couple really good things with the court designs and giving the players bonuses for winning it. So the players are into it, and as long as the players are into it, it's going to be quality basketball. So I think I'm not super excited for it, but I think overall it's been exceeded expectations for sure.
Great nail on it too. The more involvement of the players, the more input they have it, and the cooler it is to the demographic that lives the NBA anyway, which is the younger generation. They want the player-inspired courts. They want the special jerseys that are made with special designers that the players picked out. Good lesson. If the players love it, it's going to be successful. This is because you're being such a great Little League coach, man. You probably learned that lesson through Little League. You let them in on the decision making there, so they have more buy-in, and therefore the vibes are better. Last one. College basketball's kicked off. Bill Self's the top paid coach. He makes just under $10 million a year. Is it time that we start looking at coaches' payment and think that's too much now that the game's adjusted a bit?
Probably past time, but with the new models and the NIL, I think it's probably going to normalize at some point. But I think the market determines the value. College basketball is a huge thing. These power conferences are getting a ton of money from TV deals and everything else. So I don't think anything's out of whack as far as the market determining the prices. But maybe as far as going up too much more, maybe it'll normalize a little bit. But some of these coaches are super rich out there.
incredibly rich, man. And those P&Ls run deep that we've learned now. It's not just get a good coach and he'll recruit the right players and everybody will get rich. You have to build new facilities. USC actually just dropped some pictures of their facility. It looks so good, Rip. NIL stuff, you got to, it's the P&L gotten 40 times bigger, and I think maybe a place to cut fat is some of these coaches. Just a thought. Bill Self, respect, great guy. You live in Kansas. $10 million is totally cool. I think you'll be just as good with $4 million if you can have better players, support, facilities, etc. Food for thought. Thank you, listeners. I feel like this was a 1-star podcast for me. I feel like my energy wasn't where it needs to be, and I did my best in explaining my headspace right now because it's a lot of stuff in my life, and the unknown does freak me out a little bit. So I'll keep sharing it with you. I'm gonna keep showing up every week, sometimes even when I don't want to, Rip. So thanks for rolling with me. I feel better. I appreciate you.
Anytime, every week, same time, same place. We'll be back with a guest next week, a franchise guest, a franchise-altering guest from the past. So
Slam dunk champion, maybe. 3-point champion. Maybe. We'll see you next week.
see you next week.